Yuba! That's right, it's me, Elian Habanero, and you guessed it, episode 2 of Willow is here. Now Willow, as you may or may not know, stands for Wrestling is Life, Life is Wrestling, and I Love Wrestling is tattooed on my arm. And this is episode 2, where I'm going to talk a little bit about Monday Night Raw was last night, and they're getting ready for WrestleMania. It's coming up now. I intended on watching the show. I watched the whole show, but to be quite honest, I played on my phone most of the time. It was pretty predictable. Nothing really big happened. I mean, the beginning, Mick Foley had a promo, and they did it pretty good. They cut off his mic. They tried to make it seem real, but we've seen stuff like this before, so it wasn't anything groundbreaking or anything, but I still enjoyed it. And then after that, it kind of got dull for a bit. We had the whole Triple H thing. Now, I couldn't concentrate. His promo was really good, but I couldn't concentrate because he had those big wrinkles on his head. And I never really noticed that about him before. I don't know why. But it looked like he just stuck his head on a George Foreman grill and had these lines there. And he was really, like, extremely orange. But it was well done. The only problem I have with this angle is they're trying to do a realistic angle with Seth Rollins being injured. And now they're not going to let him compete and unsanctioned. Because we all know WWE, the way they treat their talent nowadays, they would never let anyone compete unless they were 100%. But I like how they're trying to do like a realistic angle. Now, I do have a complaint about the tag team division. It just seems like they're putting them on the back burner. Like they had like a 2-minute match and the storylines aren't really there. It just seems to be fading into obscurity. What else did we see? There wasn't really any good matches that really stood out to me, to be quite honest. And it was great to see Undertaker obviously at the end, but it's just the same thing every time. When he comes in on Raw, the lights come out, and he does like one thing. Most of the time it's just a stare down. At least he took a bump this time. But you know what I wish they would show? I know they don't want to give it away for free, but Undertaker should have a squash match on Raw. It could be 15 minutes. By the time his entrance is over, and they do the whole not locking up for a while at the beginning, there's 7 minutes right there. He could be on fire. He could take one bump, sell it for a bit, then have his big comeback and have a squash match, and it would last 15 minutes, and I would just love to see that. It'd be great to see Undertaker against somebody that he hasn't faced before. But all in all, it wasn't the best show, it wasn't the worst, but it definitely continued to WrestleMania. I like the Jericho-Owens thing, that was pretty good. They're pretty good, like Y2J just keeps getting better and better. But that's pretty much all I have to say on Raw. Now what else do I want to talk about? Oh yes, episode 1. I made a comment about this Tabercil, this photographer guy, and I just said how he made a couple negative comments. And my dear friend Gordo, Gordo, who has put so much time into promoting Ontario wrestling over the years. He used to run a website, he used to review the shows, and just put in hours upon hours. Well, on my Facebook page, I shared the YouTube link for this show, and he went on a big rant about this Tabercil guy. And, I mean, the way Gordo writes his things, it's hard to disagree with anything he says. And he was pretty spot on, but yeah, he really took him out there and took him behind the barn, so to speak. So, I guess my show is getting a reaction out of some people. Now, what else do I want to talk about? The one thing I'm loving on the internet right now, there's like this fake Ike Shaw Facebook page. And those people that do not know who Ike Shaw is, when I first decided I wanted to become a wrestler, when I was 18 years old, I graduated from high school, and I went to Ike Shaw's wrestling school. And it took me not very many days to figure out what a character this guy was. And he's also a big liar, and he duped me. I mean, I was able to get the most of my money because I got a bit of training, and I was able to start working some shows and meet some good friends. But this guy, if you tried to make a character, like people say, oh, the guy on Family Guy, Peter Griffin, or Homer Simpson, or any of those guys, nobody could compare to Ike Shaw. Some people know him as Joe Rockledge. Well, there's a Facebook page where people share funny stories about Ike Shaw, and there must be like 50 up there, and I just get such a good chuckle out of them. I'm really enjoying it. And also, there's a guy, Ben Nelson Creed, or Bomber Creed, who wrote this book. And it's a great book. It's called You're Gonna Hurt Yourself by Ben Nelson Creed. And it has some great, it's got like 3 chapters on Ike Shaw. And they're so funny. And they're all true. And then there's another funny chapter on Romeo Adams. And there's some funny stuff with him and Showtime and TJ Harley and doing some drinking competition. And then about him going out west. And I have a lot of let's say, what's the word I'm looking for here? I got a lot of love, I guess, for BC wrestling, because after I came from Cuba, I was adopted, and I grew up in BC, but when I was time to get trained as a wrestler, there wasn't a lot of training schools out there. But anyway, he moved back there and started working the indies in BC, so I found that stuff to be really enjoyable as well. Now, for the part of the video that probably anybody clicked on just to see, this is my top 10 list of the Ontario wrestlers who are the best at using social media. Now, to me, it's not just about, promoting the show that you're on. People that just are fun to follow, have funny things, or just share things that are interesting, or it's not just pictures of their kids, or not just pictures of the shows that they're going to be on. Just people who I actually enjoy following. Now, you also have to remember, most of the people in Ontario, they have like thousands of people on their friend list. I think I only got like 200 or 300. Some people did not accept my friend requests, and sometimes I'm not like a big presence on there, so I haven't tried to get a lot of people. But this is just based on the people that like I follow and stuff. I mostly stick to Facebook. I do a bit of Twitter, but a little bit of Instagram, but like mostly Facebook. But so I'm gonna do this. Okay, coming in at number 10. There's this guy, Zach Stelmack. I believe his wrestling name is Zach Atticus or something like that. Yeah, I believe that's what it is. Now, he has his own show tonight on Hipstar, and he puts some funny things on social media. He has the show, like I said, so he does a really good job of putting himself out there. Some of the stuff is hit and miss. Like, some of the stuff is really funny, he says. I've listened to one or two of the shows. They seem pretty decent. Sometimes he puts stuff that I don't agree with, or sometimes he puts stuff trying to be funny that's just not funny. But I find he has a good grasp on what you should and shouldn't be doing on social media. So he makes the top 10 list. Number 9 is going to be Cody Deaner. Now, he does not really post a lot of funny stuff or a lot of personal stuff, but it is inspiring. Someone that knows so much and has been around a lot of great minds in the business and has a great mind for it himself. He posts a lot of stuff like with fans that just inspire you to be the worker that he is, and it's good to follow him. He always has comments like "Dear Young Wrestlers" and giving advice out there, and I'm just glad that I follow him on social media. The next person, number 8, Justin Springer, who I believe wrestles as Just Insane. Now, I don't know him very well. I've never actually worked with him or anything, but I just enjoy it. He's not one of those Peter Post-a-lots. He doesn't post constantly. He doesn't post super funny stuff, but I just enjoy when he shares, like, he's got like this shopping cart of like buying every single meat in the store, or have these feel-good stories of people he's helped train and get in better shape, or he wears like these funny suits, and I get a chuckle out of him. I think he's good at doing what he does. He doesn't overdo it constantly. So he has the number 8 spot. Number 7, a legend in Ontario, Bloody Bill Scully, the guy's been wrestling for 20 plus years. He used to be in a tag team with Edge and Christian, or a group or whatever. He's had a lot of famous hardcore matches. I remember back, it used to be the Ontario Indy Wrestling Boards was the place to go. It's like OntarioIndyWrestling.com. And I remember one time I got voted 4th most hardcore wrestler in Ontario. This is like 2005, 2006. And Bloody Bill, of course, was first, or Warhead. It might have been Warhead. But I find he's funny. He does a lot of promoting of his shows in his school, but he also has like these outrageous posts, whether you agree with him or not, like about his pig and his pet dog, and just like, oh, he's smoking with an Olympic gold medalist, and he just lives an outrageous life, and I love to live vicariously through him. So he gets the number 7 spot. Number 6 is Tariq. I might not be saying it right. At least I know how to spell it. But I mean, I find it funny too when he shares his stories of his name being switched around. People can never get his name right. And he's also a good wrestler, but he also posts stuff about video games and just stuff that I'm interested in. And I feel he gets the 6th spot. So Tariq, number 6 spot. And number 5, we're in the top 5 now. Number 5 is a guy that I've known for a long time, Joey Allen. He gets the number 5 spot. Now, he tries way too hard to be funny, but a lot of the times he hits a home run. Like, I mean, if he did 5 posts, at least 2 or 3 of them I have a good laugh over, and he's all about social media and trolling. Now, remember, I'm not talking about people that just comment on other people's. I'm talking about what they post themselves, and he posts some pretty comical things. So, you know what? 5th spot. But if you want to be in that top 3, Joey Allen, you got to start working on your game even more. Number 4, I am going to say number 4 for me is Curtis Sturrock. And I don't know if I'm saying his last name right, but he wrestles as Hacker Scotty O'Shea. And he does these funny things. It always pops me, the things he puts up there. He just has funny jokes or just silly little quirks and stuff like that. But most of the time I find myself laughing about it. So 4th spot for you. Number 3, we got RJ Skinner, who wrestles as RJ City. Now I feel like in the past he was even better on social media, but now he has so many projects he's working on, like the CBC Crafter thing and all that stuff. But I find when he would watch award shows and post over and over, sometimes it was a little bit overkill, but he mostly generally has some funny things to come up with, and you could tell he's original. It's his own thoughts and ideas and stuff, so he is in the top 3. Number 2 for me is Casey Spinelli. Now I honestly feel like 2016 was her year and she would have been number 1, but I feel like this year she may be slipping a little bit, maybe not, but honestly too, I feel like she's the kind of person you can relate to. Like, everyone feels like they know her just from social media, whether they do or not. And she posts a lot of stuff, and most of the time it's funny or it just gets people talking. It gets a reaction. And I found myself a lot of the times not so much reacting to her posts, but getting a bag of popcorn and enjoying the comments thread. People just feel comfortable posting on her thing, commenting, and usually it goes on forever, and there's so many funny things. And she is number 2 for me. Remember, this is currently, not of all time, right now. I mean, I might do another one if this gets a good response in a couple months, and maybe the rankings will change. And the number 1 for me, maybe a bit of a surprise, but I feel Rex Atkins is number 1. I just feel he puts unique stuff. He doesn't put those little pictures with I don't know if they're called memes or memes or what, I don't know. You know what I mean, though. He doesn't put a lot of that stuff. He puts a lot of original stuff up there, and just, you can tell he plans it out to make sure the picture looks funny, and it's all about him, and it's not just about, oh, I'm working this show, or, oh, I was sick today, and it's not like, oh, poor me. He puts stuff out there that I find is relevant, and it's just not like everybody else. It's like a funny picture of him, and this and that, and I just feel he deserves the top spot. I really enjoyed, I believe he had a hand in, or maybe was the one that did it, the Ice Road Wrestlers. I really enjoyed that. I like a lot of the pictures he has of him traveling and stuff like that. He knows how to post stuff that isn't just the same old beep. You know what I mean? It's not the same old crap all the time. To me, it's different, it's original, and for right now, I might feel different tomorrow. I'm going to give him the number 1 spot. Mostly, too, because he's underrated, too. I don't feel he gets the credit he deserves. So that's it. This has been episode 2 of W.I.L.L.I.W, which is Wrestling is Life, Life is Wrestling. And remember, like or you get a leg drop. Comment or you get a clothesline. Subscribe or you get a suplex. Check me out for episode